Welcome to today's tropical weather update. And Cristobal has weakened to a tropical depression this afternoon. The now winds of 35 miles per hour at the 8 p.m. advisory. I believe it's still 35 miles per hour. But let's see here. Yep. Okay. So this is the final advisory on the system, apparently from the National Hurricane Center. So this is pretty much the last thing we're going to be getting. And now it's going to be the new advisories are going to be issued by the Weather Prediction Center. But it now has went at 35 miles per hour, and the pressure has went a little bit back up to 994 millibars. It's moving north at 18 miles per hour, and it's expected to stay as a depression all the way through the Great Lakes before turning as a post-tropical storm while moving into Canada with around 40 mile per hour winds. We do have this low area or a low pressure area with only a 10% chance of developing, so that won't be too big of a potential threat or any potential development with Dolly. But it only has a 10% chance of developing because it's just a broad area of disturbed weather. As you can see, it's kind of like more of a front, and you do see that Cristobal is actually kind of connected with this, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, it's like connected right here, and Cristobal has pretty much merged with some kind of front. As you can see, like this is the front right here, kinda. But this area, it doesn't look really tropical at all. It's just an area of kind of clouds. It doesn't look better than this. But we're also looking for some potential development in the Caribbean in the next couple of days. Force 13 is putting a 20% chance for development in the next 5 days in the Caribbean. And I do agree with them that we could be seeing some potential development. Especially currently, we do have very low wind shear, 15 to 20 knots in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, which is very favorable for some development in those areas. Waters are a little bit cooler in the Gulf of Mexico, mainly because of Cristobal, which has really cooled down the waters. In terms of those intensity, again, wind shears dropping throughout those areas. Um, it's increasing in that main development region though, but that should really start to decrease as we get into August and September. Here's a low pressure system, Cristobal, which is going to be heading northeast in the next couple of days. This is its path, by the way, if you want to know. But there we go. There you have it. Looking at some other stuff, we do have here. Again, we do have that low pressure trying to form in the Caribbean in the next couple of days potentially. On tropical tidbits, so looking for an next potential system, so we do know that this system, we do know that in 24 hours, this won't become Dolly. It's a very disorganized, broad area of low pressure. Here's a look at Cristobal the next 24 hours up there. But we do have some potential development in the Caribbean in the next couple of days. So in the in the south part of the Caribbean, you start getting all that moisture again coming from that Pacific, like usual. It does start to be coming in the Caribbean a little bit. It doesn't really form into anything, but then in about 156 hours, we do get our low pressure system. So GFS has been showing this for a while. Now, before I do continue where this could be heading, it's been changing a lot. We've shown this moving actually into Florida in those previous runs. We've seen it just moving out to sea in those previous runs. We've seen it not form at all, and now they're showing it actually kind of doing something like that and just dissipating. But Florida could still be a threat with this system, something kind of probably a panhandle system. With those kind of system, they usually even move up like this and go out to sea, or they usually go and track north into the panhandle and maybe sometimes cross Florida. So I do think anywhere from Florida to Cuba, this kind of area could be in the potential lookout for the system. Also, parts of Mexico and Central America could be on the watch out for that potential Dolly that we could be getting. But here's the track of the tropical tidbits, and you do see that system, a very weak tropical storm, if even a tropical storm track into that Caribbean, and then actually makes a 998 landfall. Um, 998 landfall in the Yucatan before crossing over in the Gulf of Mexico, where here potentially it could go for another Louisiana run or something, maybe. But tropical tip does not show that at the moment. It kind of shows it dissipating. And then we do still get all that moisture in the area, so that could still form in another system, possibly. But we don't really get that really at any time. There's lots of moisture over Florida and stuff, according to the GFS model with this. So they don't really show anything, but we do know that the Caribbeans all the way up into Florida, it's gonna have like a low area, lots of moisture, and we could be definitely seeing something form. In terms of some of the other model, the one that goes as far out is the CMC, and it does show that low pressure system also forming, kinda. It does show that a low pressure system forming right here. Um, in the South Caribbean, also, and like kind of tracking potentially towards Florida. Again, um, we do see that cloud. This is still like that area of low pressure tracking towards Florida potentially. So we're just gonna have to track that as we go. But the conditions would be there, if it does stay the same. Waters aren't too low at the moment, but the conditions could be there. The 3.4 is starting to rise again, so that's pretty interesting. In terms of, let's see here, current convection stuff right now in the Atlantic, we don't have too much going on. Lots of convection near Florida previously, but right now it's pretty calm. Um, so this is our disturbance that has a 10% chance of forming right here. And then there's some high convection in the Eastern Pacific, but this is right here. This is Cristobal, kind of again like I was talking. There's a tropical wave also coming off of Africa, but that's Cristobal also, merging with that front I was talking about all the way going up to here, and then that actually merges with this thing. So that's pretty interesting. But that's pretty much it.